Well, hello there, folks. Yet more thoughts on the Russell Brand expose. Not only has he got Andrew Tate on his side, on his team there, it looks like overnight Michael Barrymore's jumped on board as well. Against him, we've got Peter Hitchens, many would say the less clever brother of the two, although the other one isn't here anymore. I think Christopher was by far the cleverer of the two. And Andrew Neil, there in the against camp. And I'm thinking to myself, well, which side do I want to be on? Do I want to be on the Tate and Barrymore side? Or do I... And then I thought, I don't even have to mention the other two. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to be on the latter, aren't I? I mean, at the end of the day, I quite like Andrew Neil, and I know many of you won't like him. You Brand followers, you'll probably class him as the establishment. But again, for me, he knocks most everybody. He speaks up and he speaks his mind. And I don't know. I don't think he's all about the establishment. I think he's more about the truth. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe that's just me. I mean, I'm not the cleverest soul in the world. I mean, I probably get up in the morning and I'm either a Frosties or an egg and bacon man. Whereas old Russell gets up in the morning and it's probably 2 pages of the best dictionary in the world that he eats for his breakfast every morning. He can tie me up in knots. I don't know what many of his words are. And it was proved last night. One of his followers pulled me up last night for my English and it wasn't up to scratch. And he's probably right. I blame Mr. Briggs there, my old English teacher. He was pretty good. And I managed A-level. I don't know how on language. I don't know how I did it, because obviously the guy that pulled me up last night is a lot cleverer than me. A proper Brand devotee. Is that the right word? I think it is. I might be wrong. You might pull me up for that. I don't know. All I will say, folks, is I put a video out yesterday. It's been watched by about 60, 70 people. Not because it's crap, just because many won't have got to see it, because YouTube aren't pushing it out to people, because I mentioned before I'm a small channel. And I asked one question, because I said, if this ever goes to court, which it may never, but if it does, and Brand is found innocent and he's done nothing and it all is a witch hunt, I will be the first person in the world to hold my hands up and say, I was wrong, I am sorry. And I asked the Brand devotees, the followers, they've got their own name, I can't think what it's called, I can't think what it is, that doesn't really matter. I said, if it's found that he has raped and molested various women, pardon me, I've got an awful cold or COVID or whatever else it might be, over the last 30 or 40 years, and if you believe in the accusers in the end, you know, that they are telling the truth, would you walk away from Brand, or would you be one of his devotees till the end? I've got a feeling that many of them are so entrenched into his beliefs and into him and believing him so much that even if he's found guilty, and even if they thought he was guilty, they would still stand by his side. Which is wrong, because as I've said, if their own wives or daughters were raped by anybody, whoever it may have been, they'd always be on the sides of their own wife and daughters. But because they love Brand so much, maybe they could give him a pass. Anyway, I asked the question, if he's found guilty and you believe he's guilty, would you hold your hand up and say, I don't follow him anymore, I've got no time for him, he was a charlatan, I believed in him, but it was all a cloak, it was all a mask, it was all a front, I've got nothing to do with him anymore, I washed my hands of him. Would you do a Pontius Pilate? And you know what? Not one of them came on here, not one of them, and said, oh yes, if he's guilty, if I believe he's guilty, I'm having nothing to do with him. All they did was tell me about how great he is, tell me how he's helped loads of people, I don't know who he's helped, and correct me on my English. I expected a little bit more than that, to be honest with you. But anyway, there's my thoughts for now. I'll carry on studying and back when I know more.